Hello, guys, and welcome to yet another podcast. Man, Kieran, we've been killing these podcasts off weekly now, man.
Exactly.
I'm proud of ourselves. I'm really proud of
It's
ourselves.
what
We're
lockdown's
doing
done
a
to
good
us.
job.
It's what lockdown's done to us.
It's kept us consistent
Exactly.
day in, day out. So we've got some interesting topics for you guys today on the likes of Microsoft's new game, Netflix, and an interesting one, man. A little bit of an interesting one with the Onlyfans, bro.
What then? Is that you going to tell everyone about your new venture? How you're
Oh
going to make a
yeah,
little bit
yeah.
of side cash?
How do you think I get my money? So, bro, the first thing of a new game, of
Yeah.
Microsoft. Let's tell everyone about it.
So Microsoft released their new flight simulator. If any of you guys played like flight simulator back in the day, even Google Earth had like a kind of flight simulator in it. But Microsoft's flight simulator has always been kind of the OG one, and it's been a long, long time since they released a new version of it, really. And so they recently, I think just a couple of weeks back, they released the new version. I think it's called Flight Simulator 2020 or something.
Right.
And yeah, it's basically using like technology that we haven't really seen used in like a game before.
Yeah.
Obviously, flight simulator. The whole point of the simulator is supposed to be like uber realistic, like in terms of the driving the plane and everything. You've got all the types of controls. The cockpits look
Yeah.
The cockpits look like exactly like it would as if you were in whatever plane it was you were in. But the actual biggest part of the game is around like the outside, the bits of the plane you only get to see but don't get to interact with. So they've been using this like using their Microsoft Azure kind of cloud service, as well as like loads of other type of fancy stuff with Bing as well, to essentially create like a 3D world,
Mad.
which is mad. And like when you fly over,
It's
you
crazy.
can genuinely see like places and things and stuff, and everything looks like exactly how you would expect it to look like. Like if you're flying over London,
Yeah.
you can see the Shard, and it's the 3D version of the Shard, and all that type of stuff, which is amazing. And it's just crazy to think like a game like that exists now, whereas back in the day, everything would have just been like a 2D image on the ground, which would have been a little bit fuzzy.
if that, innit?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if you could call it an image, but it would just be like pixelated as hell. But yeah, man, like, have you managed to play this game?
No, I haven't. Reason being, one, even though I have a pretty decent PC, it needs an absolutely mega PC to run.
I could imagine.
And then also like the download file is like I think something like over 100 gig. So it's like it's a bad boy. Like it's not a small game by any means. Yeah, it's one of those games that like people will play I think a little bit now because there's a bit of hype over it and stuff. I don't think people will consistently play it just because it is quite a like a skill-based simulator game. It's not one that you can just pick up and you'll be great at. Like it's difficult.
Like you actually got to use it for flight simulation.
Yeah, exactly. Like genuine like actual people training to be pilots will use this software. So that's how realistic it is, and that's how kind of true to life all of the controls and how realistic if you turn left, how quickly it turns left, and all that type of stuff. But I got a question for you, and I wonder whether it's something that you do. But do you ever remember when you kind of first went on like Google Earth and like Google Maps Street View? Where's the first place you went?
Bro, your yard.
Exactly.
Your yard.
It's such a weird thing to do, right? Like when you go on like Google Street View or something, it's like the first place you want to go to is like, I want to see my house. It doesn't make any sense.
You literally can walk outside and see your house.
And then it's like, I remember on Street View, you look at it and it's like, oh, what day did they take that on? Oh, they must have taken that picture on a weekday because the cars aren't there or something.
Yeah,
or like,
100%.
It's so funny. Like it is,
It
you can go
hilarious,
anywhere in
man.
the world, like anywhere you've wanted to go in the world. You might want to go and see the pyramids, maybe, or like the Empire State Building. But no, my house,
My house.
my house. It's
Mate, maybe there's something deeper to that. Like,
What do you mean?
You know us, man. We can make things so deep in it. I think it's possibly because we want to see what other people see about us.
So you want to see like how your house is perceived by others.
Perceived, yeah.
Interesting.
Is it stretch?
Yeah, I can understand why you've said that though, because you want to get that external perspective of something that you don't really get, because for you it's just like part of your life. I think also it's just like home is home, and it's like your safe place.
It's what you know, right?
Yeah, it's exactly what you know in your safe place, and I think that's why people will always naturally revert back to their safe place.
Exactly.
Which is why I think people kind of go back to their homes. But it's such an interesting like thing where you can go anywhere in the world and everyone without fail, like, oh yeah, that's where I live, or I want to fly over my local area or something, and it's just an interesting just an interesting thing that I guess everyone does, right, regardless of
what's the second place you go to though.
Ooh,
you didn't think about that one, man.
No, I didn't think. What's the second place? Okay, I would
maybe like your favorite city.
Yeah, I would say.
I know. I'll go to LA quite a lot, man. I feel like I've already visited.
I would
LA,
say
New York, bro.
I would say I think I'd probably go to my place of work, which is quite weird.
Oh my days!
I don't know why.
That's interesting.
Again, maybe
people would stay away from that, innit?
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't really make any sense, but I don't know. I think. Yeah, it would be. I would say it's probably my place of work, but I don't know where I would go to second.
That's crazy.
But it's interesting. Can you imagine? Obviously, we posted some GeoGuessr videos.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if you were on GeoGuessr and it dropped you outside your house? Like, I don't even know what the odds of that would be, but can you imagine?
Well, think about it. It's probably happened to someone, right?
Like, no, surely
there's
not.
There's definitely a chance. Of course.
Not enough people play GeoGuessr for that to be the case.
True.
Think about that, right? There's like, okay, let's take an example. Let's just say, I know this is not the case, but let's say every part of the world is mapped on Google Maps, right? Or Google Street View, yeah? And there's nearly 6.5 billion people on the world, on the Earth.
Yeah, like you're pushing
and you think about
8, man.
all of the possibilities of where it could drop you. The possibilities of that are so slim.
So slim.
Wait, I want to Google whether. Surely anyone's ever done this, right? Possibility of landing next to your house.
House in GeoGuessr.
No, this can't be a thing. What are the odds of landing outside your house? This can't be a thing.
What's it saying?
I don't know. I'm trying to. I don't know.
Bro, there's 7 point something billion people, and maybe not even a small fraction, like a minuscule percentage of people play that. So you're probably right, but I feel like it's probably happened to someone, man. On the random off chance.
Yeah, I was just having a look, and some people have been dropped like really close to where they live.
Right.
So like a high street near where they live, or like a main intersect. What are they called? Interstates, like in the US and stuff like that. But I think also the way GeoGuessr works is that it puts you in like, there might be like thousands of set places that you can start, and it will put you in one of those places. Like, it's not just an infinite number. Anyways, I think it's highly unlikely, but if it did happen, it would be. Oh, I remember once playing. GeoGuessr back at uni with a friend, and he's a big skier, and we got dropped onto a ski slope in Whistler in Canada, and he was like, "I've been on this ski slope on this lift. Sorry, I know where it is," and we're literally able to pinpoint like the exact ski lift location. It was crazy. That's kind of like the closest I've ever come to on a world map to like dropping somewhere where you really know where it is. But most of the time you just get dropped in like a field in the middle of nowhere, innit? And it's just like
100%
ropes trying to find a street sign or something.
Mate, our one, remember when it was just in the middle of like what looked like a desert, and you can either go left or right. And
but that's what
both ways were long as hell.
But that's what makes you think as well, though, right? No, that like, yes, so much of the world is like habitable and built up, right? But that's only still such a small percentage to how much of the Earth is still either one covered by water, or two like just desert and like dry land and not habited by people. It's crazy. Like it's
Think about Australia, man.
exactly the majority
Yes.
of Australia is completely uninhabitable.
Outbacks.
It's yeah, it's crazy. It's
It's
not something that
mad.
you can
That's what
really
it
like
is.
think of in your head, like how much space that could be. But yeah,
Can't
it's
fathom it, right?
yeah, exactly. Your brain doesn't have the capacity to think about what that might be. But it's interesting, right? You know, when you go on think games like GeoGuessr, you realize like, you know, that all the
Damn, the
desert
world
looks
is
the same
big.
across the world as well.
Yeah, exactly.
It just
Oh my
it's
days.
desert is desert, and a road is
Desert
a
is
road.
desert, bro. Sand is sand, isn't it?
Exactly. And there's you can't
Bro, I
distinguish
always-
between. Go on.
I always think about this. I was saying to someone the other day, like, whenever I go to like a city, yeah, I was saying in Birmingham, right? I just think, and I see loads of people, I just think, there's so many people in this world, man. Like, so many people.
Think of this.
My brain can't, like...
Think of this: everyone you saw, or like 99% of the people you saw when you went to Birmingham this weekend or last weekend or whatever, you will never see again in your life. Mind blown.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
It's true though, isn't it?
Very true, man. Very true. That's
Particularly
crazy.
people you see in like transactional places like shops, like supermarkets.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, there might be some people you see again because if it's like in a local area or something like that. But
Right.
in a place, you know, in a big city like Birmingham, you know, you probably won't see, other than the people you went with, you probably won't see anyone there ever again.
That's mad.
And even if you do, you're not going to remember.
Bro, you like,
It's
what?
and that's just in Birmingham, the
Birmingham, innit?
second biggest city in the UK, which isn't even that
Could
big.
you imagine London?
Yeah, well, not even London. They think about like the
Bigger
bigger
cities,
countries,
innit?
the bigger countries
Yeah,
in the world. And actually, just speaking of that, there was a TikTok video, and we'll try and include a little clip of it here. But what this guy was doing was essentially there's a world map, right? And he was showing there about how the size of countries is not represented the same on a world map.
Yes,
So-
because obviously the Earth is round. Any flat Earthers out there, go do one. The Earth is round, and it can't be like mapped properly on a flat surface, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what he was doing was there's this like I don't know what it was, whether it was a website or an app or something, but you can essentially
Yeah.
drag a country over another part of the world and you can see like
Compare,
actually how big
yeah.
it is. And there was like one country, I think it was Congo, I think it was. I might be wrong, but he literally
Okay.
dragged it over Europe, and it's pretty much the size of like the whole of Central Europe. It's incredible,
Oh.
and it looks tiny out there in when it's incorporated within Africa. When you
Yeah,
take that
yeah.
out and you put it over like something like mainland Europe, it's crazy, and it just brings into perspective like how.
Oh man, we need to find this
big
and throw
and
the
small.
link. We need to throw the link in the bottom of this like description. Man. You'll search for it and try this.
Yeah. Wait, hold up. Okay, it's not this, but we'll find it.
Alright, bet. But man, back to simulator games. What's your favorite simulator game, or what games have you played that would be simulated?
Oh, simulate games. So I do like obviously car simulator games are always so
Yeah.
good. It was particularly when you couldn't drive, like the
Oh
concept
my
of
days, yeah.
being able to like get in a car, drive around, like be it whether it was on Burnout or Need for Speed or
Yeah.
Gran Turismo or whatever it was. That was always great fun. So I think the car simulators, I would say, were probably my favorite. How about yours?
100%, man. Every time I just think of a simulator, yeah, I just think of the Ferrari steering wheel I had, and I was playing like Need for Speed and everything with it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
absolutely rinsed it because I had the pedals as well in it. So I had the steering wheel, the pedals, and mate, it was my life. Like I love playing it.
You feel
It
like
was
a
the
badass.
best thing. And then I went to some like tech convention, right? I think it was like Gadget Show. Yeah, it was Gadget Show, sorry. And
Right.
they had a simulator there. This was years ago. And bro, it was the one where it like moves and everything.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it was
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
new tech. And I was like, mate, I need this. Mate, it was like over like 3K.
Your dad was like, nah.
maybe another day.
Yeah, exactly. If you save up for the next 10 years, you might be able to afford half
Yeah,
of it.
literally, man. But I'll just go like to the arcades, innit? And
But you look at-
the driving games.
Yeah, oh, man, those are great. like the crazy ones where you have, and the whole thing just shakes when you hit the sides.
Shakes. Yeah.
But like also you look at like some of like the simulators that like F1 drivers and stuff use, bro. These are like tricked out simulators, like whole like curved screen setup, like the whole thing moves on like an axis. It's incredible, like incredibly
different
lifelike.
levels.
It's mad.
Different levels, man. And as you mentioned that, I just think of the film Cars. I think it was Cars 3 where like Lightning McQueen went on the simulator. Yeah, bro. He's a sick guy, you know. Like I know him personally, but like the simulators nowadays are just getting crazy, man. I could imagine the aviation ones, like the actual ones they use for training, must be like borderline like realistic. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I remember back in the day
and stuff.
I remember back in the day in Westfield they had this like flight simulator thing, and it was basically you pay like I don't know how much it was. And they had this whole proper, like, as you say, like aircraft simulator setup.
Yeah.
And they would teach you how to take off and land and stuff like that in this simulator. And it was really, really cool. But yeah, it's crazy how, like, realistic and lifelike they can make things that are so complex.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that they do as well, which is really good, is like the feeling it gives you as well.
Yeah, 100%.
So like the feeling of speed and the feeling of like, you know, bumpiness and all this type of stuff. So I think it's
and being in control, right?
Or not in control.
Yeah, depending on how good you are.
The way you play car simulators. Some people play them very realistically. Some people play them very, very differently.
Yeah, so true.
Were you that guy out of interest that dabbled with like on GTA and Burnout, like driving around normally, like waiting at traffic lights, indicating?
Standard, bro. Of course.
It was so much fun. It was so much fun that.
You have to be a good civilian, man. And then as soon as you knock something or you bump into a car, that was it. 0 to 100 real quick.
Yeah, exactly.
Quite literally. Then that's it, man. You're driving on pavements. Next thing, you're flying over buildings and everything. But let me ask you a question, man. What's the longest simulator you've played?
What, in one go or just like in general?
In one go.
In one go.
Mm.
Okay, it would be Gran Turismo 3.
Okay.
And back where, so basically what they used to have was like, this is back on like PlayStation 2. They used to have like online like 24-hour rallies and stuff.
Oh, Le Mans.
Well, yeah, but they also kind of did these other types of races as well, where it was like you had to race for 24 hours. I didn't do a 24-hour one, but I did a 12-hour one with my cousin in America when I went out there on a holiday. And we essentially started at like 8 p.m. and we played all night, like switching between us.
Oh my!
Like, and it was like you're doing the same track and you do the same laps. Again, it was just like, it was crazy, but it was so like exciting. You were like, oh my god, we're hunkering in for the night to play. It was so cool. It was crazy. I'd never do it ever again. But
it's a one-time thing only, man.
Yeah, it was just like, it's one of those things you do when you're like a teenager, when you're like 13, 14, and you've got nothing else to really do.
You got time.
Yeah, exactly. You got time to kill like that, and you can stay up that late. Like now, I'll be like half asleep, just like crashing into the wall.
Bro, I swear, 10 p.m. That's it.
Exactly, bedtime.
So you say the longest game was Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, the Gran Turismo for about 12 hours, I think it was.
Okay, yeah, Gran Turismo. And
what's yours?
So isn't the longest simulator you've played Not Your Life?
It depends. Would you say it was a simulation?
Oh, who knows? We find out next month when the aliens come out to play.
Oh my god, yeah, no, that shit is too deep, mate. We can't go down that far. I don't know enough about philosophy to be answering questions like that.
I swear, next, like September, clip this, yeah? September 2020, aliens will reach Earth.
Oh my god.
Facts.
That's not gonna happen. Why do you say September 2020? You got a feeling?
Bro. Not only that, yeah. Look at this year. This year is just a madness, right? Every month there's been something, right? Something like extreme where like the whole world knows about it or something.
Aliens is next level though, man.
Bruv. 2020 is next level, yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
And-
I
and-
do think that's a bit far fetched, though. Not gonna lie.
I think what do they call it? A cosmonaut or something?
What's that?
Basically,
I'll have to Google that.
People who study like cosmology, right?
Right.
So apparently he saw like lights and stuff, and he got he got scared.
Oh my god.
He's probably seeing some.
You don't
weird
believe this stuff, do you?
I do, man.
Oh my god. You know what we
I
need to do?
do.
Just on that note, we need to do either a video or a section in a future podcast about conspiracy theories.
Oh, we said that last time.
I'd be very tempted to
We
do
said
that. We
that
definitely need to do it. I think it would be great fun.
That'll be the next one, yeah. But man,
Aliens are not
Next
coming,
month.
Shamirkp.
next one.
Aliens
They
are not
are.
coming. They are not
They
coming.
told me.
No, they told you. So you are like one-to-one contact with aliens.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
You are
I'm
our
how you
mediator.
communicate. I am. I will be a translator as well. You know.
Oh my days. Anyways, I feel like that's a good time to move on.
Very great time. So Netflix.
Well, no. If the aliens came and you wanted to give them some entertainment, we would just give them a Netflix login
Oh snap! And then put it on shuffle, yeah.
and say, yeah, put it on shuffle, right? Here you go. Enjoy yourselves, guys. We made all this content just for you.
Just for you. But yeah, man. Yo, Netflix and shuffle. That could get dangerous.
It's an interesting
man.
concept, isn't it?
That is very interesting because now you're treating long form content as if it's short.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, the only thing I would shuffle is maybe like songs, maybe like a YouTube playlist where the videos are maybe like 5 minutes maximum.
Yeah.
But long form content where it's like a good 45 minutes to an hour, that can get dangerous, man. You'll see your time just go by. Like
I think it would
this.
shuffle. I don't know how it's specifically going to be set up, but I think it would shuffle
Right.
to a trailer.
Oh, okay, that makes
So
sense.
you at least, because there's a lot of stuff that, and,
yeah.
and you will notice this, right? So Netflix are very good at it, and actually, to be fair, YouTubers should probably do this as well. Is that Netflix changes the thumbnails for programs quite regularly?
I've heard, yeah. This is the case because I also recognize this on music videos in YouTube. But yeah, carry on.
And the reason they do it is so that they can make content that's been on there for a long time like look new to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is a very, very clever concept. I think
Smart.
the reason it doesn't work on YouTube is because it's rare that you go searching in someone's channel.
Yeah, exactly.
But on Netflix, where actually people do spend a lot of time searching, and I'm sure they've got crazy stats around like how long the average person searches for before they actually watch something. Like,
yeah, 100%.
because people do delve into like the whole library, that kind of strategy of changing the thumbnails is so clever.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people like dismiss programs just based on a thumbnail.
100%, man. Like a thumbnail is the important thing, right? So
Yeah.
it's the first contact you have with essentially what is a user or a customer, right?
Yeah.
So that has to be like tip top. Why do you think our podcast thumbnails bang?
It's because you make them, that's why.
Gag.
But like, no, I think you're right, and I think the shuffle thing actually takes the thumbnail out of it.
Right.
In that
okay.
you essentially then judge it based on the trailer that it shuffles you to rather than the thumbnail, which could mean that people discover more stuff that maybe has been on the Netflix library for ages and actually is really, really good entertainment, but people don't really come across it because it's not eye-popping. You know, like Selling Sunset does really well.
Or it hasn't caught like a hype or something, right?
Exactly. Like Selling Sunset does really well because it's like really nice houses and hot women on the thumbnails.
Exactly.
And then like 365 Days does well because it's a really hot guy and like all this type of stuff. Whereas like other things maybe...
Oh, you lost baby girl.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh my god, yeah. No. Let's not talk about that film.
Let's not
talk about that film. That was an absolute joke. That film, a waste of my life.
Oh, dude.
But yeah, like I think the shuffle thing's a really good idea.
Yeah.
And it just gets people watching content quicker. And I think the more content people watch, the more they're likely to stay with Netflix and all this type of stuff. So I think for them, it's a very, very clever move. I just wonder how much it would be used.
Because as they get more viewers, right? As things are watched more, that means that Netflix could essentially like charge more, possibly, or make more money off of the film. I don't know, bro.
Well, I think it's just about, essentially they just want to keep the eyeballs on Netflix, right? They
Yeah,
are
exactly,
they are
like-
not at a position that, you know, yes, they are still growing, and that's mainly because of lockdown. On their growth's maybe been higher this year because of lockdown, but they are
Yeah.
getting to a stage where they're kind of maturing in their terms of their subscriber numbers. So they're not
Yeah.
experiencing that rapid growth
Right.
that they were, you know, when Netflix was really kicking off, and, you know, the whole digital online, kind of online only type content was really kind of growing. They're not at that stage anymore, and so for them right now, it's not about it, particularly in like Western countries, like here in the UK, like in the US. It's more about just keeping the eyeballs that they already have.
Engaged,
Whereas
yeah.
whereas in other countries like India and places like that, where they're still trying to grow, they're doing more innovative stuff, like different types of mobile only tiers and all this type of stuff that we don't get here in kind of the UK or you would in the US. So I think they've essentially got like different strategies for different parts of the world, which, you know, is
Right.
very sensible. But yeah, I just think the shuffle feature is really cool, and as you rightly say, I think as this moves towards like longer forms of content, it will be interesting. And I wonder whether YouTube would do something like where you could shuffle on your subscriptions.
Oh.
Like, that could be interesting.
So I was thinking about shuffling on the homepage, so it can be older videos and stuff that obviously are recommended towards you.
Okay, so you're
the-
okay.
Yeah, instead of the subscription where things, maybe people prefer it chronologically to see, I don't know, when
Yeah.
this person has uploaded or etc. But yeah, man, that Netflix, I bet, yeah, like you said, I bet they got some crazy stats. Because isn't it like, I heard someone say that, you know have the like the preview of the trailers, right?
Yeah.
So from what you watch, they base that trailer off of the things you've watched. So if you watch more action-packed stuff, the clip of the trailer would be the action part of the film. If you watch more, you know, romantic stuff, the clip of that same trailer will be the romantic stuff. So
That's crazy, isn't it? That's like next level, like customer knowledge and intimacy. Well, I just had a look, and according to PC Mag, in 2016, a new study reveals that Netflix users spend 17.8 minutes on average browsing possible TV and movie options before selecting something.
wow.
And you got to bear in mind, though,
17 minutes.
but you got to bear in mind,
That's
though,
long.
2016, right? That was before Netflix started really producing their own content.
Yeah.
And so that was just like, you know, the movies and the TV shows they used to have that used to come from other producers and stuff like that. So now I can imagine it's way worse.
Way worse, man. Well, I don't know, because Netflix have probably done stuff to, you know, bring that down, right? So you got people watching it more.
Yeah, exactly, right? So like the recommended stuff, that the algorithms they use to suggest recommended, and what they put further up your you know, when you first go on Netflix, all of that type of stuff is all
exactly.
it's all there on purpose. No stuff is there just by luck.
No.
No.
If it's social media or anything like that, where they call them users for a reason, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Who else calls it their customer place users?
Yeah.
Drug dealers.
Well, have a look at this, right? So I've just while searching that last one, I found an interesting stat. So, assuming no titles were added from its July selection, I think this is the US Netflix, it would take you a grand total of 36,667 hours to watch everything on Netflix.
Everything.
That's 4 years, 2 months, and 8 days of non-stop binging. That's incredible.
I bet people can do that, man. I bet there's a
that's a Mr. Beast video, isn't it? Watch
Bruv, I
last
swear
person
to God.
last person to watch Netflix wins $1 million or something. Hey, Mr. Beast, hit me up, bro. That's actually a sick idea.
That's actually a sick idea. And I bet Netflix have got, like, you know, stats on who's watched the most hours and stuff like this.
Oh, yeah. Oh, actually, that's a good point.
That's a YouTube video, bro. Who's watched the most Netflix?
That would be a stream. Can you imagine that? Just streaming you watching Netflix.
For like 4 years straight.
So I'm just looking at Netflix statistics. Let's have a look. 41% of Netflix users use the platform without paying.
Oh my days. Without paying, yeah, because like users, right? You can have different accounts and stuff on there. I wonder how they navigate around that, because obviously they want more users. So
well, they've always said they're not too worried about it, which is the kind of crazy thing, because they could easily put in like two-factor authentication. So like when you sign in, it sends like the password to your phone and all this type of stuff. Because because what happens is there are places on the website where you can find like they have accounts they've like either hacked or people have got access to accounts that have like the higher tier, the one where you can have like 11 people on an account, and essentially you can just use their account and they would never know, which is really weird. And I think the only way you would know, and I had this happen to me once, which is why I had to change all my passwords, was I started getting like sign-ins from like Korea and stuff like this, and I was like, okay, that's strange. But similar to that, there's actually a website, and I can't remember the name of it, but essentially it does the same thing but for Spotify. So essentially basically what people have done is they've got you pay this service, right? You pay it like £4 a month or $4 a month or something, so you're not paying the full Spotify premium. And essentially this service, I don't know how they've got access to this. They've essentially got access to all of these accounts that have Spotify family plans.
Oh, snap.
So obviously on a Spotify family plan, I think you can have 4 accounts on it, or 4 separate accounts.
That's some like GDPR heavy, deep
so
stuff.
So what this service essentially does is you pay them. Yeah. They then find a family plan. That only has like 3 users on it, for example, using it. And they then essentially give you the login details for that same Spotify account. So you become the 4th person in their family, but you're not paying that person's family plan. You're paying into this like third party, and this third party offers like full like transfer. So say for example that family plan decides to stop for some reason, for no extra cost, they'll move you over to another family plan that has space. Days. And it's like people are using this service to
the amount of stuff that is
like save money. It's crazy, but that's essentially hacking. I don't know how they do it legit. I really don't know.
That's what I said. That's some heavy GDPR breach, man. Like
it's it's mad. But I guess if there's a will, there's a way. There's loads of services where people, you can find like Netflix passwords and stuff online. It's super easy. It's not difficult, and they just don't seem to be too worried about it. So
man.
It's strange, isn't it? It's very strange.
Very, very strange. But going from long form content to a different type of content, let's say.
What type of content? Oh, okay. I know what type of content you're talking about.
A different type of content.
A very different type of content.
Short form.
I think there's some long form. I think there's some long form stuff on there.
Yo, is Onlyfans, bro. This has popped off differently through lockdown, man. Everyone and their dog has got this. I swear to God, man.
It's interesting.
Like, I know personal people that have downloaded this and are using it and are selling it, and it's like
wait. Using it to create content or using it to consume content?
Both.
Oh wow. I don't really know anyone. Obviously, like I know I've seen people on TikTok and stuff and Instagram who do it, but I don't really know of anyone who's like actively using it. I feel like it's just seedy old men, no? Or am I wrong?
Bruh. You're wrong, mate.
Really? Am I that out of the loop?
Bro, you don't want to be in that loop, man.
Yeah, no.
But why? First of all, why waste your money? Second of all, could you imagine, I don't know, your employer is subscribed or something. Could you imagine?
Well, the thing is, if that is the case...
You're probably going to jump straight away.
If that is the case, who's in the wrong? Who's not in the wrong? But like... Is it like
is it bad?
Is it like his fault for subscribing, or like is it her fault or his fault for posting?
But so first of all, this stuff has popped off so much during lockdown because obviously everyone was affected by COVID, right? So people lost their jobs and people need money. So what's an easy way to make money?
Titties.
Sell your body. Titties make pennies.
Exactly.
And yeah, man, I like first like I've seen this happen, man. I know people that have an OnlyFans and use it to create content for money. And essentially when you think about it, you're only creating one form of content. But someone is subscribed to that for a month, right?
Yeah.
And it's cash. Like it's pricey, man. Like
yeah, it's not cheap, is it? It really isn't cheap. It's like
it's more than a Netflix, bro.
Yeah. Well, and it varies, right? I think each creator can set their own
right.
Their amount.
Yeah, and if mate, because a guy having this, yeah, it's not gonna work out, bro.
But
like,
guys do, by the way.
I know.
There is
guys
a market
do.
for the guys on OnlyFans.
Oh,
I don't think it's as big as the female.
Okay. You know what I'm doing next, man? You know what I'm doing after this podcast, lad?
Get those feet out, mate. Get those feet out. Get those feet pics onto OnlyFans.
Nah, man. I don't have the soul for that.
It's weird. Right. It's such a I guess it's something that's kind of been around for a while, right? Before there was always those services where you could pay, you know, like cam girl stuff was always a thing, right?
Like premium stuff, yeah.
But it's it's a very clever model, right? Because we're so used to nowadays like this whole subscription model, right? Like Netflix we were talking about.
Yeah.
Exactly the same. Your phone, your Spotify, your Apple Music we were just talking about, whatever. Everyone is very used to paying for things monthly on a subscription base, and I think what people, the lure of people buying subscriptions is that they can kind of just buy for what they want.
Exactly, and then forget about it.
Yeah, which feels like you've got a bit of control, and as you say, exactly is they bank on what happens with gyms, right? Where you sign up and you forget to cancel. Basically, you're not using the service, but you forget to cancel because once you create a direct debit for something, you know it.
You just leave it there.
Exactly, it's long and more confusing to try and cancel it than it is to just continue paying it. So a lot of people do, and I think the revenue share like model between what OnlyFans keeps and what the creators get is quite good for creators.
Yeah.
Hence
do
why.
You know specifically what it is?
I don't know. I can Google it, but I think it must be pretty good, right?
Quick Google search, go on. Because I'm interested, man. This might be a new business model for me, man. Like.
Well, think about it, right? Think about it like. So creators take about 80% of their earnings, which is pretty good.
Decent. That's like furlough. That's like furlough money right there. Do you know what I mean?
It is. But you think about it, right? So if you take a £20 a month subscription to an OnlyFans, that's just one person. You're taking away £16 of that, which is a lot. That's a lot.
And that's just one person, yeah, because this stuff can cost like up to $20 a month, right? So imagine that multiplied, obviously monthly, but also the amount of subscribers.
Yeah, exactly. It adds up. It adds up really, really quickly. And
put it this way: imagine on YouTube, every subscriber that you have pays you $20 a month.
Subscriber would mean a lot more. Everyone would be
exactly.
People who had 10 million, like PewDiePie, would be a living legend if that was the case.
Yeah, but trust me.
But that's how Twitch works, right? You have to pay to
exactly.
you have to pay to subscribe, and the creators get a percentage of that. But it's even less than 80. It's less than 80%, and even Apple, right? They take more than 30%. They'd be in the news for taking more than 30%, for taking 30% of things that their kind of creators and developers put on their app store. And I think the reason, because it's so generous, I think that's why a lot of people have flocked to the platform.
Exactly.
And as more creators go there, you get more customers, right? Or you get more users because the people that they want to see are there, and maybe actually, you know, there's people there that aren't doing content like that anywhere else.
Exactly.
On more kind of XXX pages, and so, you know, that's drawing more people there. And as more people realize they can make a good living from it, people that wouldn't necessarily do it, and then you start opening up a whole different category of like the whole like girl next door. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah,
and it's like
exactly.
It's it's one of those things that as it grows and as it kind of gains more traction, more and more people will join, both as creators and as kind of users and customers. So it'll be interesting to see how it grows. It'd be very, very interesting to see how it grows.
Trust me, man, because like I read something and it was like the stuff that you see nowadays, right? Like on just normal things, right? Like TV shows, YouTube videos, Instagram posts.
Yeah.
That's like, that would be considered near enough like soft porn back in the day.
Oh,
you know
yeah, 100%.
Like, it's crazy to think that we've become so like jaded. And
well, you've seen what Kanye's tried to do with TikTok, right? And create this whole Christian TikTok.
Is it?
So basically, he got in touch with, like, he tweeted a couple of weeks ago.
This.
Like, he's like, how can, you know, TikTok is mad that like people are doing crazy stuff on there, and there's no real age limit, there's no watershed time, you know, all this type of stuff. And he was like, you know, I'm getting in touch with the TikTok guys to talk about creating like a Christian TikTok. But the point you make is really interesting, because like terrestrial TV has to still abide by all these rules about, like, you know, only certain types of programs are before 9 o'clock, and certain things, you know, have to be really, really late at night. Whereas actually, you go online, you go on Netflix, you go on
anytime,
YouTube,
bro.
you go on whatever else, you can watch whatever you want whenever you want, and that's one of the things that I think normal or terrestrial TV has really suffered from as well. In that,
it's like a major hit.
100%. Like, you can, you know, the fact that you can only have swearing after really like 9 p.m. It's crazy.
Bro, and then you go on YouTube and it could just be there like in the morning as soon as you wake up.
And you got to bear in mind, right? So the reason they put those rules into place is to essentially to protect the younger audience, right?
Exactly.
But you got to understand that younger audience are just spending their entire time watching on-demand content where they're being exposed to all this stuff anyway.
Yep.
So if you as BBC One or ITV want to get more eyeballs to your program, to your channel and to your programs, just, you know, incorporate some of that stuff. But it's a wider thing, and, you know, I don't realistically, do I see things changing? No.
Nope.
Do I think?
I honestly believe in a life that is similar to, you know, the Ready Player One thing. I always yap on about it, because when you think about it, we're slowly coming there, man. People form relationships online. Yeah. Long distance, they still communicate online, and it will come to a point where we take that virtually. We will take that virtually, in terms of like virtual reality, in terms of like headsets and stuff, where you can kind of be in the same room as the person, but not actually be in the same room as the person.
Yeah.
And that will turn into like wearable tech, etc. And that's just going down a different. But
route. But lockdown has completely accelerated stuff like that, right? Like I've seen videos and stories of people who like met online during lockdown, and they've been like FaceTiming and stuff, and like, you know, have created like really good relationships over lockdown, and then they like meet for the first time, and it's like they've developed a whole relationship, you know, never ever really just seeing the person.
Talking.
It's crazy how we've got so much more comfortable with doing that. And I think before people were not so comfortable with opening up to people online and stuff, but it's become so normal now that more and more people are doing it, and you're right, we will move to that kind of stage where relationships are virtual. You know, we've always been told, you know, in the workplace and in real life, you know, you build relationships in real life, like, you know, person to person. But I think we're realizing, you know, lockdowns accelerated that thinking and realization is that that's actually not true.
Yeah, exactly, man.
You can build relationships. Because I think back to my work situation. There are people that I've worked with now that I have never met before, but I feel like I have really, really strong relationships with.
Yeah, exactly. And what is it? Just a Google Hangout or something? And
it's just like, you know, Teams calls, Zoom calls, or, you know, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's something that is, I think we've just always been told by society that you can only develop relationships face to face, and I think that's actually completely false.
Completely false, bro.
But it's been it is, but on the OnlyFans thing, I think lockdown has definitely helped it grow.
100%.
With people being at home and stuff like that, and people being made redundant or whatever, and not having work, and so looking for
bread, man.
Yeah, from both angles, right? From the creator aspect of people needing the money because they don't have a job, and also from the user perspective of people being bored and whatever, whatever else, and I think it will continue to go strength to strength because there are still so many new creators joining the platform on a daily basis. So I think there are some big things in the future for OnlyFans, and I wonder whether they might branch into like non-risky content. I think that might be an interesting move for them. Whether people
in terms of
just like a YouTube style platform where you could post content on there, but it's behind a paywall.
Yeah,
and to see whether you could grow a following, because I think is obviously people have grown a following on YouTube, and it's easier to grow a following on YouTube because it is free to like, it's free to subscribe, it's free to watch. When you start putting things behind a paywall, and you actually get people paying to see your content, that's when it becomes a completely different ball game.
But that, I think that also is great, because then you have subscribers who are actually invested, quite literally, in your content, right?
Yeah, and you can do bigger and better things because you've got more money to invest into it, right? You're not based on, and if a video doesn't do well in terms of views, that's fine.
That's fine, yeah.
Because you're still making the same amount of cash, and so it's an interesting.
Well,
saying
that, that's why a lot of people, like YouTubers, have done that, right? So I could think of 3 examples straight away. So you got Logan Paul, you got Ace Family, and then you got the Nelk Boys, right?
Yeah.
And they all have like subscription content where you pay and you get exclusive content, right? Kind of like Patreon, but they've made their own so they can capitalize even more.
Yeah.
So I think that is going to be like the new wave of where everyone goes. And you're absolutely right. So maybe OnlyFans can kind of PG themselves and move into that space and invest in more in that space. So,
but I think one thing that all of those people there that you mentioned, and even a lot of the OnlyFans people are doing, is that they are also still posting free content.
Yeah, of course. You need to.
Yeah, exactly. You need to. A lot of people kind of move to only behind a paywall type content, and it just didn't work. People don't go, right. You need to really be invested in that person to put your actual money into watching that content. And I think
exactly.
That's where some people who have tried to do what you described there and it hasn't necessarily worked. And then there's some people where it has worked a little more successfully. But, it is a very interesting model, and it'll be interesting to see how... would you pay, for any of the people you're subscribed currently to on YouTube, how many of those people would you pay £5 a month to still be subscribed to?
Let me think about this.
If you had to pay £5 for each subscription you had.
Mate, 1.
Yeah. I'm about to say, I don't think I would subscribe to any... I would say 2 people would be the max.
Yeah. And that's pushing it, bro. Like...
But that kind of completely changes the whole ball game, right? Because
you
will stop having these accounts that have, like PewDiePie with, close to 100 mil subs, or has he gone past 100 mil subs? I think he's gone past, right?
Past it,
He wouldn't have 100 mil subs. He would have probably maybe a couple thousand, maybe, or a couple 100,000. But he'd probably be making about the same as he would maybe be now.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting, and I guess maybe for smaller creators, it would actually be better, I think.
In terms of money wise, right?
Yes, in terms of money wise, yes.
Growth.
Yeah, I think you as a small creator, you would have to put out. I think if you put 3 videos on for free, you'd have you'd have a 3 video to 1 video private type of ratio.
Yeah, ratio.
So you're still kind of growing your audience on the free side and trying to convince them.
Exactly.
But it would just end up in chaos. Like every free video would just be, guys, make sure you sign up for my paid.
Yeah.
It would just become a constant promo, and I think
Run
that
your
would get a
own
bit tiring.
ads in front.
Yeah, it would get a bit tiring. But you know, they tried that with the whole YouTube Red thing and the YouTube Premium thing.
Exactly.
And
I was gonna say
things have it's been partly successful, but I think on the whole, I'd say it's probably been unsuccessful.
And so
because there isn't just there's a huge number of creators that have moved to that type of model. It's the minority that actually have that type of paid model. But yeah, it's definitely something to watch out for and something that's interesting to monitor over the next couple of months.
Yeah, man, it'll be definitely interesting. But I think we'll leave it at that for today.
We will.
We've planted
chat.
the seed. We've planted the seed in people's minds to maybe inspire them to start something. Not an OnlyFans. Jesus, not an OnlyFans.
Well, if they want to.
Okay.
Hey,
you said it, bro.
Let people do whatever they want to do. Let people do whatever it is they want to do.
Trust me. All right, man.
As always, guys, remember to subscribe down below to both of us if you're not already.
Yes.
Make sure to follow us on all the socials as well. You guys know all the usual, but please, I guess the most important thing is please do make sure you subscribe. We're both trying to grow and put out regular content and stuff. So I really would appreciate if you guys hit that sub button. It doesn't cost you anything, unlike it would for OnlyFans.
We just had this conversation.
all it costs you is the time for a click and to be notified of the podcast that we get. So that's the value you get. You get to listen to our lovely voices. That's the value you get. So thank you guys for watching anyway. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and this episode of the podcast. But make sure you guys subscribe. I'm going to keep saying it. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.
Peace.